portion of the Sermon on the Mount that is found in the Gospel of Matthew chapter 5, verses 3 to 5. That's where Jesus is penned as teaching, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth." I am one of those people who loves musicals. I gained that love kind of naturally because of my mother who enjoyed them. And I would oftentimes sit down and watch some of the old musical classics with her. I just loved them and learned from them. And musicals always moved me, not just because of the stories, but because I was in awe of the people who excelled at the craft of a musical. Being able to sing well and to dance with joy are gifts in themselves, but when they are done at the same time, that was always mind-blowing to me. The ways in which my heart and my mind, my soul was drawn to an individual's command of vocal song, coupled with communicative facial expressions and the well-timed delivery of a line, are truly holy. I feel that same way about the craft of the spoken word. The way in which individuals can weave words together into a text in order to challenge and to comfort an audience is also holy and awe-inspiring. Some inspire with soaring oration, while others captivate listeners through their calm and careful speech. Like many others, for whom using words well is part of their calling, I too often allow myself to be confined to a narrow understanding of how the gospel can be shared, usually defaulting to way too many words. It takes discipline and discernment to preach or to write with brevity. As someone once stated, I didn't have time to write 1,000 words, and so I wrote 2,000. Twitter, if you've ever used it, it has its faults, but sometimes we need some encouragement to rethink the wordiness we too often rely on. Twitter only allows 280 characters in its tweets. Although I think Elon Musk is looking into increasing that character limit to 4,000 characters. I believe that the Beatitudes are the best of Christ's poetic expressions of faith. Not only a challenge to what we do in our faith, but a challenge, at least for me, to express myself in different ways. Jesus is still using words, but this captivating portion of the Sermon on the Mount is a challenge to think about not only what we share, but also how we share it. In this passage, not only are we given insight into the kinds of things we need to be attuned to inside of the world, we are also being challenged to hear and to express those profound challenges in different and even more creative ways than we have in the past. The simplicity, the transparency with which Jesus talks about who is blessed is brilliant. This is a radical message that's made clear and memorable for Jesus' hearers because of its poetic power. This should be held as a reminder that in order to share the challenges and the calling of faith, we must be creative in our expressions, to use more words, or maybe it's fewer words, to use more crafted words, or maybe it's no words at all. Expressions of faith must take many forms in order to speak to the many ways in which people can take in and receive information. How creative are you? How creative are we in worship today to demonstrate different ways of expressing our worship of the Lord, using story or poetry or painting or sculptures, maybe dance or song, just as some examples. For each of these affect people in different ways. The gift of poetic challenge opens us towards creative means of expressing our faith, both for ourselves and also with others. Observing Jesus' teaching style can provoke meaningful and faithful action in the world. And this is good news. Amen.